Hey Coding House, welcome back to the channel. This video we are going to talk about what is Node.js and how exactly it is working in our today's world. So if you know, Node.js is nothing but an open source cross-platform runtime environment. It is not a framework, it is not a library, it is just a open source cross-platform runtime environment for executing your JavaScript outside a browser. Now what is that exactly? We'll understand in a minute. Mostly Node.js is used for creating a backend API service, and so these are basically the API service which will provide you the outputs which you need to connect with your mobile application or your JavaScript based front end applications like React or Angular. So ideally, a JavaScript code, how does it operate? Like whenever you write a JavaScript code, it will go through a JavaScript engine. And that code will be then converted into a machine code which that browser can understand and then it works. So if you know, like V8 is the name of the JavaScript engine which is available in your Chrome. Then you have got Spider Monkey which is available in your Firefox, and Chakra is one which is available in your Edge. Now the game changed when in 2009 Google open sourced the V8. They said, okay, you can use it outside the browser now, and we are giving you the code. So at that point, a guy named Rindal, he did what? He picked up that code, converted into an exe. Yeah, he converted into an exe, and which is what we normally call today as Node.js. So Node.js is nothing but your JavaScript engine, which is not only available inside a browser now. With V8, it was only with Chrome, it was only available inside the browser. But with Node.js, what they have done, they have taken out that engine, made it available outside with much more implementation scenario. So if you quickly just go to a browser and if you right click and do inspect, and if you go to console and say let x is equal to 10 or 20, let y is equal to 30, and then you say x z, let z is equal to x plus y, and then we print z. See, I'm getting the output. The reason being, this is all happening, this is the JavaScript engine which is available on my browser. So this is what happened, and this node is available outside here now. So at this point, what we'll do is, see, we'll try to understand what are in Node. There are multiple inbuilt modules. So inbuilt modules are what? Your OS HTTP file system. Then you can define your own modules, and then you can do third-party installations using npm. Now this npm is one of the better game changer when it comes to Node.js. So first you will go to nodejs.org and you will try to download that. If you simply go to nodejs.org and you try to download it from here, for example, I want it for Windows. I can use, I don't want it with npm. I can simply just choose the Windows installer here. I'll do what? I will pass this link in the chat window for you all. And it's simply next installation. Nothing you have to no path setting, nothing has to be done. It will just simply get installed, and you'll know you'll need VS Code. That's it. So once you install Node.js, it will be available on your machine. And now, for example, here you have got various inbuilt modules which are available. Plus, you have got user-defined modules and you have got npm. So, in simple terms, what is npm? npm stands for Node Package Manager. It is more or less like a Play Store or an App Store for your mobile phone, where the things which are not by default shipped in your mobile, you try to pick it up like them. In simple terms, it is like a relationship between Nobita and Doraemon. Like whenever Nobita, who is like an application, requires something he doesn't have, it goes to Doraemon. Can you give me this? Can you give me that? So this place is nothing but npm JS. So here, if you see, whenever you are not able to find anything, you will come up here. So for example, in the application I'm planning to make, I will need a library called as Express, a simple web framework. See how it will work. We have got Express, and how do we install it? Once we install Node, we'll get access to npm. Once I do npm, it will say npm install Express, and this will automatically be available in my application, and I can just use the object like this and start using it. So sort of same thing we are going to do in my application. This is my plan, what I'm trying to create. I have a database have a table by name products. I'm going to use that products database, and I will like have a single product listing API. I will have the API to list all their products, then to create a product, update a existing product, and delete a product. So all this will be available. For doing that, I will, with the basic inbuilt modules of Nodes, I will use Express for having my minimalist server, and body parser because the data will go to and fro between JavaScript object and JSON. So body parser will allow me to do that conversion. So let's begin with the practical now. So the very first thing I'm doing is I'm creating a folder. Let's call it as Node Products API. Under my Node Products API, first I will open my terminal here, and I will check node installation. Make sure that you check your node installation. So it is node space hyphen v. I will also link the video. If you're missing out on the installation, I will put it in the description box. You can check that video, or you will also see it on this I block on top now. So here, this is where I see my node is installed. Now, how do I create an application? For creating an application, I will say npm init here. Now this is asking what is going to be the name of my package. I say products API, and it is fine. Version is 1.0. Description, it's a demo app for products API. Then entry point is index.js. Okay, I'm okay with that. Test command, nothing. Git repository, nothing. Keywords is nothing. Who is the author? I'll say it is code with Z. Then license is ISC, that is fine. And then I type yes. The moment I do this, now what will happen inside my Node Products API, a package.json file will be created. Yeah, the package.json file will be created. Now at this point, what I need to do is I will go and open this particular folder in VS Code. For doing that, either you can go do it from there, or you can just type code space dot. If VS Code is installed for you from here itself, it will open your VS Code application with that current package folder for you. Now you see we have got this package.json where we have got the basic implementation, but apart from that, whatever this is nothing but the control file. We are specifying what are the dependencies and other things here, which we will start using up now. So now if I go back and if I say I want to start, let us set up our application first. So what I want to do is I want to open my MySQL. I will show you something. If I say show databases, I have got products underscore db. If I switch to use products underscore db, and if I say show tables this time, so I have got a products table, and if I say select star from products, see, these are some of the products which are available for me. So what I will do is I will create a file here. Let's call it as queries.sql. And this file actually contains commands for creating all the things which you are able to see on the screen now. Whatever we are doing here, this is all available in that, like creating the database and writing, inserting those 10 demo products is all available in my application. So that is something which I have added in queries.sql. I will be pushing this repository to a Git repo, so you can check it out there. Now, let me create a file, call it app.js file. And under this app.js file, let us start with the very first application is, now when I come in here, I understand that I want to make use of Express, I want to make use of MySQL, and I want to make use of body parser. So all the three are not the part of my existing application. So in that situation, what I'll need to do, simple, I'll have to go to npm.js. We have already seen that. What we'll do, let's go to npm.js. Here I have got Express, then I will have to see MySQL2, which is fast implementation driver. So this is what I'll have to use, npm install MySQL2. And also, yeah, I have used a body parser. So this body parser is nothing but it will incoming request bodies into middleware before your handler available request.body property, and it will parse. Basically, that is the work of it. So let us go back and start using this. So now I've got const. Okay, I have not installed the required packages first. So let's do that. For that reason, let us go to the terminal, create my new terminal. And here under the products API, let me say npm install mysql2. So it will quickly install it. Then I can do multiple installation together as well. So I have got express, and also I have got body hyphen parser. So it will install my body parser. So all these installations are done. Now let us go back and say const express is equal to, there is an inbuilt function called as require. And in the require, I am passing that I want the express server. I want the express server, and then I will, because that is nothing but a function. So I'll say app is equal to, I will derive it out into a object which I got under my app. And now let us start with a very simple one, without any database or anything. For now, I'll say app.get. Now you know there are multiple types of HTTP requests. Get is one of them. So I say slash hello, and here I will have a function now. So the structure of the body is what you specify the name of the API, and then you have an object called as request response. Under this request response, what do you pass? Under this request response, what do you pass? I will say I'm not doing any processing here, so I'll say response dot send hello world from Node. Okay, hello world from my Node app. So here it's my arrow function. So I'll just specify that arrow function. Then once I'm done with this, what will I do is let's specify a port. So I'll say const port is equal to 3000, and then I will, let's start the server. So here I'll say app dot listen. There is an inbuilt function called as listen. A node HTTP server is written with this application. And if you wish to create both HTTP and HTTP servers, you may do both with HTTP and HTTPS module, and then you can try to do that. But for now, I'm okay with listen, where I say it is going to listen on what port? This port. And I have to pass a function which will be like sort of a callback function. It will call when the server have started. So I'll say console log server is listening on http colon slash slash localhost colon, then I can just simply add plus and inject port here. So now based on this, if I, this is a simple application now here, if I try to execute this, how will I do that? Node space app.js. The moment I do this, see, it has started node space app.js. Let's go to the browser and see how it works. So if I say localhost colon 3000, okay, it says cannot get slash because I have not hosted anything on slash, but I have hosted on slash hello, and it will say hello world from Node app. So this is the first API which I have already created. So next, what we are going to do is we are going to start with products API, where I have got the database. Now from the same application, what I'll do is simply just start working on the scenario. So let me take the dependencies first. So for that, I'll say const MySQL object is, I'll make use of require object, and under my require, I will say MySQL2. Then const body parser is equal to require of body parser. Then I have got my express, and here I am going to tell them app.use that please make use of body parser dot json function. So we have done the setup part here, that okay, this is how you will set up. Then let's connect our node app to MySQL. It's quite simple. It's an object, JavaScript object. So I'll say const db is mysql dot connect, or sorry, it's create connection. And in the create connection, I will have to pass a object, a JavaScript object, where I will say what is my host. Let's say if you have hosted it somewhere, you can just specify it. So I'll say host is what? Localhost, port. So my MySQL is executing on 3306. Then I've got user. User object is I have got root, and my password of my database is admin. So whatever is your password, please add that here. And then what is my database? So my database name is products underscore db. That's it. And on that basis, this is what my database connectivity will be. And let's check the connectivity now. So I'll say db.connect. So db.connect, and under this connect, I get an error object if something is wrong. So I'll get that error callback here. And if everything is fine, this object will be null. So if error, this is what we call as truthy falsy checking. So we don't have to go and check is null or not. If it is null, it will give us this directly. So I'll say console log database connection error, and here I am just adding what is that, error dot stack, which will help me to understand what error happened, and then I will return from here itself. So nothing will be returned. Else, what we are saying is console log, sorry, console log connected to DB. Okay. So if I try to rerun this, I'll press Control C to stop this, and I execute this. See, this time it is saying connected to database. Let's say I pass a wrong password here, and let us see how it works. So I'll say clear screen first. This time, see, I got a stack. Access denied for user root at localhost. That means that this password is wrong. So this method is working, doing its job very properly. And now I start, see what it is saying. It's connected to deep. Next, let's start creating the APIs. So the first API, what I want to create, see, the plan is that I want to create this 5 APIs. I want to create this 5 APIs. For getting all product, the name of the API is what? Slash products. For single products, it will be slash product slash ID. For creating a product, we'll pass slash product with the request body. Yeah. And with updating the product, it will be slash product slash ID with the request body. While deleting a product, only the ID. So it will be what? Slash products. So let us start with that. So first is where we make use of we want to fetch all the data from the backend. How will we do that? We'll say app.get. As you know the structure, what we do is first we pass the name of the API. So I say slash products. What in the second? We say request and response. And that will be an arrow function. And here is where I will write all my process. So the very first thing I'll do, what in the DB, there is a function called as query, which will allow me to fire the query to the backend. My query is what? Select star from products. So I fire this query, and based on that, either I will get the error or I will get the results. This time it is results. Why? Because I'm expecting multiple results. And under this nested function, what will I say? Okay, let's see why this is. Where is the comma expected? Oh, this is not what I was looking for. Okay, request comma response. And here, what the first thing? I have passed the query of what select star from products. If there are errors, if there is error, let us throw that error. Else, let us do what is, we'll say response dot json, and we'll pass the results back. Okay, we'll pass the results back. So this is nothing but my products API. If I go and now say localhost 3000 slash products, it should go to the backend, bring those APIs for me. Let us see. I'll have to restart my server for that. Okay. Next, let's go here and we'll say slash products. Oh, it says not available. Let's see quickly what is the problem. Something went wrong here. No database selected. Okay. Did we select a database in the connection? It was products underscore DB. Yeah. Then it is what select star from products slash products. Hmm, I think there is, see, this is my spelling mistake here, database. So it is not able to select any database out there. After I've made the changes, see, no problem now. And if I go back and I refresh, see this time it should be giving me 11 products, which is giving me 11 products. How do I get this? There is a extension called as JSON Viewer, which I've installed on my, if you see JSON formatter or JSON Viewer is something I've installed, which is giving me the output like this. So these are the products which I'm getting from the backend. Now, what if I want only a single product? In that situation, I can use my get API again for a single API. I can see make the changes in this same API. Let me show you how I can do that, because once you write one, you will get the data for other. So app.get slash products. This time it is going to be what? Slash colon ID. Colon ID is what? Is your way of saying that, okay, I'm going to pass an ID for you. You have to make sure that you pick up that ID. Then what I do after I get into that, I will say const ID is equal to request dot params dot ID. So I pick up that ID from my code, and then I say where ID is equal to question mark. Yeah, where ID is equal to question mark, and here I pass in the square bracket, I'll pass just the ID. This is the ID which we have on line 58, which I'm injecting in my code. And this time, as it is going to be a single result, I keep the other code as it is. Now this time, if I had 11 IDs, I might pass. See, like for that, I have to restart my server again because these changes are not getting reflected. Okay. Then I go back. If I call this, that's fine. Now let's say I call slash 10. Okay. Something went wrong. Results is not defined. Yeah. I'm perks of copy paste. So if I go back, but before that, I will have to restart my application and then I refresh. See, if I pass only products, I get all 11 IDs. But if I pass slash 9, I'm going in individual. But if I say slash 90, say it's getting blank. And in the backend, I might also get an error that like no error here, but it is throwing an exception out here that nothing is available at this point. We can do exception handling on top of this. But for now, we have completed our get all and get single. Now, the next one is what? Creating a product. So let's try that. For creating a product, we'll use app.post this time because that's the work of post API, and the name of my API will again be what? Slash products. Plus, then we'll have our object is what? Request response. And here, what we do is from the request body, I am making use of something called as object destructuring. Now, it's a very important concept. You can see my video, which will be showing on the top here, that there is how to make use of object destructuring. So what I'll do from the incoming request, I'll say const. See, the idea is quite simple. From request dot body, I know that you're going to pass me what? Name. So I'm going getting it out. Name, category, then we have brand, and then we have price. So these all are objects now available, and then I simply say db dot query is under db.query, what will I do is insert into products in what order? Name, price, category, and brand. And then under my values, I will simply just say question mark, comma, question mark, comma, question mark, comma, question mark. And here I'll have to pass this is the place where I'll have to pass those values in the same order. So it will pass what? Name, price, name. In the query, what I've passed? Price. Then I've passed category, and then I've passed the brand. And then in the last part, what I'll get again, I will get my error and results. Error and result. So this time, what will I have to do is if error, throw error, else response dot json. And what do I have here is I will inject the id. So what is the id here is I will have response dot insert id. Sorry, it was like a request dot insert id. And again, the another part what I'm talking about is what we call this is called a spread operator. You can also check the video for spread operator here. So request dot body, the same data is added in the backend, and I'm sending the data as a response. So in this response, if you get, yeah, in this response, if you get everything, so let me just format my selection with, okay. So if you get the output as the object, that means it is inserted successfully, else it was a problem. So now let us try go and check this out. So we have got connected to the DB, but this time I will not be able to make the call using my browser. So I'll have to make use of something called as Postman. It's an API tool which we have, which we can use easily. So I'll give them the value. And as I was testing the same, see, I will make test one, brand is test one, category is test one, price is 101. And now if I make, see, I'm calling what? HTTP localhost 3000 slash products with post. And then from the raw, I selected JSON and added this JSON. So if I make the call, something went wrong. I could not get a response. Something went wrong here. Is request dot body. Okay, I got what is the mistake I did here is I have to keep it under inside a single object, not outside. And okay, so now if I go back, try to send. See, I'm getting the response. I'm not somehow not getting the ID, but I'm getting error like HTTP code 2200. And if I go and check, I'm expecting one more entry. So that happened twice. So there are two entry now, test one and test one. So these are the new entries I have added in my application using my API calls. And apart from this, next what I need to do is, so I will give you now. I hope you have understood how this works. So I will just post. Once you know how to work on create, you'll also know how to work on update and delete. So in update, what we are doing is we are doing put, and in delete we are using dot delete. The process remains same. We are taking the data from the ID, we are taking the data from body, and we are passing the update products requirement. See, this time we are passing update products, and then we are passing the same inside the query. So we are passing that updates, and when we do it for delete, we are just changing the delete function, and so on. Yeah. So how about I will push this to a repo so that we all have access to it, and you can also give it a try. I will just say, so this is my node products API. I will say commit, and let us initialize this. Okay, I think something is wrong. Let us see git add space dot. Okay, there is a, yeah, it's a good thing they have stopped because I think I should add a git ignore here. Underscore modules slash dot. Okay, so now if I say git underscore start, okay, it is added now, and I'll say git commit hyphen m node products API. It's done. So if I go to the repo, it will say, do I want to publish the branch? Yes. How? What will I name it? Let me call it as code with Z node products API. Let's call it as playground. I might make more changes on this one, so you can keep on following this repository as well. It's publishing the repo. I will push the link to this repo in the chat box as well, and you can see all the codes are available here. And let me just make one more small change so that you'll know how to work with this particular application later on. I am adding a new file. Let me call it as readme.md file. And here I am adding the steps. So this way you will be able to, I'll just make steps commit and let us push it to the repo. So now if you go back to the repository, what will you find after you refresh is in your README file, you know how to create the API, how to start the project, and what are the things we need to install. Thank you for watching this video. Please do subscribe to my channel and also share it with your friends.